Your wife is a secret agent, but so are you. Our story begins with a titular couple, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, attending a marriage counseling session. They've been married for 5 years.
6.
Okay, 5 or 6. The husband, John, is defensive, claiming that they don't really need this and compares the session to a car checkup.
Maybe change the oil.
If you know what I mean. On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you as a couple? John is initially confused, but his wife, Jane, gives a solid 8. Naturally, he follows suit.
8.
Now, how often do you two hide the pickle? Oh no, the couple can't answer, not even when asked how many times this week. So, 0? That's married life for you. The counselor asks them to describe the first time they met. It's a fond memory as he gets them both to smile. They met in Bogota, Colombia. Still not sure if it was 5 or 6 years ago. Flashback time. Amidst burning buildings and wailing sirens, John is at a hotel bar where we learn that the police are looking for a solo traveling tourist that put a new hole in someone, and not in the fun way. John tries to keep it cool and ignores the police questioning him. At the same time, Jane enters the hotel, who's also being hounded by authorities asking for her papers. The two notice each other and immediately understand what to do, so they pretend to know each other. Little did they know, they're both hiding something very suspicious. Inside the hotel room, they officially introduce themselves. Afterwards, the new couple celebrate.
Dodging bullets.
And in case anyone needs a reminder of how hot Angelina Jolie is, enjoy the dancing. John couldn't resist the temptation. Apparently, Brad couldn't either. Anyway, these two have the hots for each other, so much so that not even the rain could cool them off. The next day, Jane gets breakfast in bed. Apparently, room service fled, so John had to do everything himself. Sweet. Explosions can be heard in the background and the hotel is even shaking, though the couple doesn't seem to mind. They spend the time exchanging flirtatious glances, and everything is fine. Some time has passed and we're in New York, where the couple are having fun at a carnival. They try the shooting gallery, with Jane missing all her shots. Let a man handle this. Wow.
Beginner's luck.
Then, Jane flashes a killer gaze before turning on her aimbot. Equality lives on. John is impressed and Jane, proudly carrying her prize, echoes.
Beginner's luck.
We cut to a gym and John's friend, Eddie, is reprimanding him about the fact that he's only known Jane for 6 weeks. However, John is in love.
Smart, sexy, uninhibited, spontaneous, complicated, sweet thing of everything.
Listen man, you have to have a foundation of friendship. The other stuff fades. Meanwhile, while climbing the side of a cliff, Jane is also discussing the pace of her relationship. Her friend, Jazz, is concerned it's going too fast. Here we learn that John works in construction as a big-time contractor.
He's gone as much as I am, so perfect.
I'll spoil it for you now. They're both contractors. Contract killers, that is. And back at the gym, while getting his wig split, John reveals that Jane is in IT. She's like Batman for computers. Also, he already proposed, which leaves Eddie in complete shock. Stop hitting him, I think he said something crazy.
I'm getting married.
Yep, definitely crazy. Back to the present, the Smiths are living in this fancy house. They discuss their counseling session, both unimpressed by the counselor, and they seem uninterested in going back. Married life seems dull, and their conversations aren't interesting. Check this out. If this happens every day, it's a miracle they lasted 6 years. Afterwards, we cut to this guy, Benjamin, acting like a big shot after getting called in by the boss. On his way to the elevator, he gets stopped by the secretary, who reveals that people who've been working here for 25 years have never seen the inside of that elevator. I guess he's new, and this must be his first assignment.
This is the assignment?
Yeah, he's new. And we catch a small glimpse of the mysterious boss. Back at home, Jane prepares dinner and John arrives just in time. Gotta make sure we're wearing the ring, hide that stain, and we're good to go. John picked up some butter, and apparently that makes Jane happy. Things aren't looking so bad today. I got new curtains. Uh-oh. Jane goes on and on about reupholstering sofas and getting new rugs. John doesn't want to overcomplicate things. He's more keen on keeping the old ones and not changing anything else. If you don't like them, we can return them. I don't like them.
You'll get used to them.
Women, am I right? Just kidding. Looks like both of them decided to visit the counselor separately, venting their concerns in the relationship. I love my wife, but sometimes there's this huge space between us and it keeps filling up with everything that we don't say to each other.
What is that called?
Marriage.
Sounds about right. Their bedroom lacks any passion, dinner time is cold, and overall, the Smiths are failing in the communication department.
I have little secrets. Everybody has secrets.
Not this kind. Back home, Jane is on the phone and is suspicious John is spying on her while watching TV. She needs to leave for server maintenance, and John reminds her that they're going to the neighbor's party tonight.
Yeah, just a quickie.
Poor choice of words, but okay. Turns out, John has to leave as well. A little later, and the couple arrive at their separate destinations. Jane at a hotel, and John at a bar. John goes all the way to the back and in a drunken stupor attempts to join a poker game. Nah, this seat is for Lucky. Come on, he ain't even here yet. John taunts them with some cash, convincing them to let him join. All the while, Jane starts a game of her own. A man enters and... wah wah wee wah. Back to the poker game, John is already one of the boys. Just look at this montage. Drink responsibly, kids. However, their fun is cut short as Lucky comes back.
Time for the memories.
Time for John to leave, but not before. And then this henchman is like, oh my god, my gun. And then John is like, pew pew pew. So much for being one of the boys. Cut to the hotel and we are getting kinky. Ow. Step on me, mommy. Just kidding. Jane proceeds to give him a chiropractic adjustment and then escapes through the balcony using this nifty bag. Ain't that some shit?
Taxi?
Smooth. Now we know that these two are true professional killers and have kept their actual profession secret from each other for 6 years, or 5. It's impressive they never ran a thorough background check on each other. The couple return home at almost the same time, John just barely missing Jane's interesting outfit. The Smiths proceed to their neighbor's house. Look at those smiles, totally normal, not hiding anything at all. Meet the Colemans in their fancy house with their fancy party. Suddenly, Mrs. Coleman notices Jane's fishnets. Hey, no kink shaming. In the other room, John socializes with the boys. Stocks, trades, ROIs. How about you, John? Got any NFTs?
I got all my dough buried under the tool shed.
Wise man. Meanwhile, Jane is getting bored with the small talk. Right on cue, this baby makes a mess and the mom has to clean up her dress. Little rhyme for you? She ends up leaving the baby with a very hesitant Jane. She's visibly perturbed, but don't worry, Jane. It's just a baby. It's not a bomb.
She likes you.
John sees this, and I don't know what that look means. Disappointment? Anger? Envy at being helped? The next day, John is preparing for a trip. Whoa, he wasn't kidding. His shed is loaded. At the same time, Jane unlocks her own stash. Naturally, it's in the kitchen. Hey, I didn't write this movie. John arrives at work and is greeted by his secretary with all the paperwork he needs. But first...
Get rid of that gun. Come.
Jeez, okay. Oh look, Eddie's here. How are you?
Same old. People need killing.
Oh, of course. He invites John to a boys-only barbecue, but John needs to talk to Jane first. Eddie mocks him for not wearing the pants in the relationship. Yeah, maybe give her a call in case you decide to scratch her ass. Make sure she thinks it's okay. John viciously counters.
You live with your mother.
Relatable. She cooks, she cleans, she makes me snacks. I'm the dumb guy? No, Eddie, you might just be a genius. John ignores Eddie's whining and activates his office's stealth mode. Cool.
Good morning, Atlanta.
Atlanta gives him a priority 1 assignment. Benjamin Dance, aka the Tank. Hey, it's the new guy from earlier. He's further informed that Benjamin is a threat to their firm, who is currently in DIA custody. John needs to make sure a ground-to-air exchange does not happen. So, he'll be heading north of the Mexican border. More like Twink. Around the same time, Jane arrives for work in her high-tech office. As she's entering, their boss gives her an urgent assignment.
We need this quick.
Yes, that's Keith David, and in case you missed it, Keith is the boss from earlier. As soon as Jane enters the office, she is greeted by, whoa, hello ladies. Looks like it's an all-female death squad. They'll steal your heart and eat it too. Funny how despite being an all-female team, the boss is still a dude. Jazz is also here and she briefs Jane on her target, the Tank. Yes, the same target as John's.
You're serious?
Yes, Jane, I agree. Tank is not an apt description. Anyway, she'll be heading south of the border.
Oh, look, more desert.
Ha! A classic one-liner by our boy Tank. As you can see, Tank, aka Benjamin, is escorted by a convoy. Jane is already on standby, observing their every move. She's got motion sensors and explosives at the ready. While she's chilling, this dune buggy arrives, alerting her and accidentally engaging the sensors. There's an idiot in the field ruining all our plans. It's John, just in time for the operation. Jane resets the explosives and observes John, but she doesn't recognize him. He goes back to his ride and picks up the Widowmaker. Ironic. Jane panics and shoots him. John's down and the convoy activates the motion sensors. Countdown is initiated. John is of course still alive. Enraged, he shoots the watchtower with a rocket. Goddamn. Just as John contemplates his Second Amendment rights, the time detonation goes off. The convoy leaves. Mission failed. For the both of them. Unsurprisingly, Jane is also alive and gets away on a motorcycle. And before leaving, John manages to recover a laptop. Sometime later, he discusses the events with Eddie, worried that he got identified. He admits that the other hitman might have been a girl. A girl kicked her ass? John concludes she's a pro, while Eddie makes some moves on the waitress.
I'd like to have her kick my ass. You know what I mean?
I don't quite understand. After ordering some ice cream, Eddie asks more details.
Laptop.
What?
Laptop.
Okay, we cut to Jane, still bruised up from Mexico, angrily asking, who was that?
His father.
Wow, so not only is their boss a man, but they call him Daddy. The patriarchy, am I right? Jane takes the call and reports her failure. Daddy warns her that if she got identified, well...
You know the rules.
Everyone looks concerned as she is given just 48 hours to eliminate her new target, which is her husband. Meanwhile, John is checking the laptop that Jane left behind. Well, actually, this hacker girl named Gwen is helping. She takes out some undamaged RAM, scans it, and just like that, we have an address leading to Jane's office building. Technology is scary. John arrives and, would you look at that?
Sweet Jesus, mother of God.
Amen? Jane's team is a bit slower, still replaying the tape from Mexico.
Jane, it's your husband.
Yeah, no kidding. He calls asking about dinner, to which Jane responds, it's at 7. It always is. For whatever reason, he finds this to be sus. John drives home expecting a battle. Upon entering, Jane kindly greets him with a drink. You're here early. Pleasant surprise, but John remains cautious, spotting a bottle of Drano in the kitchen. As they sit down, Jane states, this is a special occasion. Damn, she's in control. While she walks off, John hides his knife in his pocket. Then, he takes further precaution by immediately offering to cut the meat. Looks like she's a few steps ahead of you, pal. Jane acts menacingly as they discuss her day at work. Well, I hope everything works out okay.
It hasn't yet, but it will.
John remains cool. Until Jane finally asks about John's trip to Atlanta. Now he's starting to crack. He gets up and offers her some wine, but then... Goddamn. Jane accidentally reveals her power level. She lets the bottle go, then the two rush to excuse themselves. Honey, where are you? Uh-oh. John chases after her. Jane is in disbelief as he closes the distance. Eventually, he fires at her. Accidentally, he swears. But Jane is still furious. She goes full throttle and John just barely gets on top of the car. He desperately tries to talk to her, and as he forces himself inside, she jumps out.
We need to talk!
Oh my god, he's a goner. And just like that, the movie ends as Jane walks away. Just kidding. John arrives at Eddie's house, who has just the best advice. They all try to kill you. Slowly, painfully, cripplingly, they hurt you. Now, I'm great. I get dates all the time.
Live with your mom.
John is left confused as Eddie goes full conspiracy mode. She's a spy. It's her job to get information, suggesting that Jane spied on him for the entirety of their marriage. Eddie tries to help him out. If your life was a book, then in the first 150 pages you were a clown, but now you can write the last 10 pages. John has no idea what the hell he's talking about, so he grabs his big old gun instead.
I'll do it in the morning.
We've all been there, John. In the meantime, Jane is back at the office with Jazz, who also gives her some pep talk. You don't love him. You'll kill him. You're the best. Then it'll all be over. At night, Jane cries away the last of her love for John. Morning comes and her team is all over their house. You know the drill. The girls tear up the place, even the teddy bear. Harsh. Jane tries to remain calm, but then catches her team watching their wedding video. Despite the fact that they're just doing research, she still be feeling feelings. So she makes them leave. As for John, he's late to the party. He brings his neighbor along for a house tour, but really, he's just using him as a meat shield. Clever. John makes it around to the shed, and his entire stash has been raided. If you've ever played Rust, you know how much this sucks. Back at Jane's office, they're going all out. Phone taps, credit cards, audio scan civilian frequencies, find him. Don't worry, he's already here. John gives her a call, exchanging some friendly banter. Careful, Jane. I can push the button anytime, anywhere.
Baby, you couldn't find the button with both hands and a map.
Ooh, she went there. John starts to piss her off just as her team pinpoints his location, much closer than they would have liked. They begin to evacuate, terminating all their files and computers before exiting via dope grappling gun. As John enters, he has a perfect opportunity to take a shot, but hesitates. Jane leaves him in the dust, and they exchange some loving words before parting ways.
Chicken shit!
And they say romance is dead. At Eddie's house, John tries to find clues from burned documents. While Eddie becomes increasingly paranoid, he's worried because John was only given 48 hours. Time remaining, 18 hours. John tries to calm him down, but he's like,
Mom! We're on high alert here!
good thing, John just found the clue he needed. Fast forward to this construction site, John pretends to be part of Jane's company and infiltrates the building. But, as it turns out, this is a trap. And not the fun kind. Using the elevator intercom, Jane warns him to stand down. Her team is tracking everything. John confidently calls out the location of the explosives, but Jane catches him off guard when she mentions another hidden explosive. I'll blow it, John. John calls her bluff. Blow it. Jane starts counting down, and...
Goodbye, John.
What the hell was that? Come on, you said goodbye. Jane runs out and inspects the damage. Rip in peace. Just kidding, John was in a different elevator. You see, he merely rerouted the camera feeds. Later at night, Jane is drowning her sorrows. Suddenly, a man approaches her from behind to top off her glass. Of course, it's John, and...
I want a divorce.
apparently, this is also where he proposed to her. Fitting. They both try to intimidate each other, their guns at the ready. As no one is backing down, John asks her to dance. They both use the opportunity to disarm one another, and all the while discuss the failure of their marriage, blaming each other for using the marriage as a cover.
Lucy, you were just a cover.
Wasn't I?
Oh, wasn't I?
Wasn't I? Sorry, I just wanted to jump in. Appearing hurt, Jane walks away. Though, John stays composed, assuring himself that she's just a liar. And he's right. Jane escapes while John is distracted. Oh, and she left him a present. He absolutely cannot wait to return the favor and jacks his car like we're in GTA. The two of them end up racing towards their home. John calls her and asks what her first impression of him was. She deflects the question back and John answers, "I thought you looked like Christmas morning." I don't know how else to say it. Both are emotional, but Jane remains in denial, pretending it was
All business, cold hard math.
Man, these two still can't communicate. John is in the lead, but never mind. He tries stealth mode, but Jane successfully locks him out of the house. Let's see, back door? Nope, she doesn't want him in there. What about the basement? Nope. Eventually, John gets lucky and enters through a window, even getting a brand new gun. Locked and loaded, John quietly hunts down his target, all sneaky beaky like. He uses the reflection of this framed picture to... Uh-oh, looks like Jane went full Rambo. Clearly outgunned, John flees to the kitchen before improvising. John emerges from the explosion and engages with his wife.
Come to dad.
Who's your daddy now? Jane runs for her gun, but John keeps up. They continue wrestling and breaking furniture. Then, John finally manages to get some good kicks in, but gets paid back in full, plus interest. They dive for their guns, leading to a standoff, but neither can pull the trigger. John disengages first, and Jane is still unable to finish the job. Suddenly, they still end up, wrestling a bit too rough as the neighbors come in to check up on them, officers in tow. They excuse themselves and clear things up as a simple night of passion. Sometime later, Eddie receives an alert. Immediate target priority for Jane, worth $400,000. He rejects the offer, but as soon as he goes back to sleep, another alert comes in, this time for John. Together, they're worth $800,000 in total. Back at the Smiths, the couple try to navigate their burned kitchen and have breakfast together. They compliment each other's fighting prowess and start unveiling some secrets. They point out key moments in their marriage that were affected by the work and even bond over their injuries. See, communication works. Oh no, just when they were getting along. As we can see by their sign language, they're not completely in sync yet, so they sprint for the basement to arm themselves. While they're down there, the couple gets interrupted by this robot dropping off a grenade. John kicks it out of the way, but somehow makes the situation worse. Uh-oh. They manage to run outside before. And these two are immortal, seemingly the only survivors. They break into the Coleman's house and take their car while addressing some more secrets. On the road, they're still unpacking more baggage. You know, I never really liked your cooking. I've never cooked a day in my life. 6 years of lies and deceit slowly entangling themselves before our very eyes. And, of course, they're still being chased. $800,000 is hard to resist after all. John tries his evasive driving, but Jane is unimpressed. She insists on driving and they eventually switch. John tries shooting one of the cars, but unfortunately, it's bulletproof. Then, randomly, John confesses he's been married before. We know. This sends Jane into a full-on rage.
Are you out of your mind? What is it?
At least the passion is still there. Suddenly, one of the cars gets too close and John takes advantage.
Go, go!
Then, Jane proves to be the better driver, managing to get out of being sandwiched by two cars. And in case you're ever feeling useless in life, look at this guy. Goddamn. Okay, time for another confession. This time, Jane admits she's an orphan. Her parents on their wedding were paid actors. John is shook. Meanwhile, they're having a hard time taking care of the remaining cars, so Jane has to improvise. Outgunned, but not outclassed, the couple successfully drive away. After, John surprises Eddie at a diner. Eddie is disappointed to find out that Jane's alive, but admits he wasn't interested in the bounty. Then, John asks for some advice. Eddie emphasizes that the two are working for rival companies, and both are most likely coming after them. If the couple split up, then they may have a chance, but staying together means certain death.
Unless you can find something that they want more than they want you.
Good idea. They take Eddie's advice, tracking down their joint target, the tank, with a little help from Jazz. She informs Jane of the heavy security Benjamin is located in. We cut to Benjamin, held captive, being a little demanding. Get off your fat ass and change the channel. How rude. The Smiths get ready and go over their plan. But before anything else, they compare body counts. You know, I don't exactly keep count, but I would say high 50s, low 60s. I've been around the block.
No, the important thing is
312.
Whoa, not even close, John. Some were two at a time. It really do be like that, though. Underground, John smashes a hole to a tunnel while Jane monitors everything on the outside. He runs into a bit of trouble as their map isn't as accurate as they thought, so he finds a different way, to Jane's annoyance. The Smiths are once again out of sync. John goes on the attack, but Jane failed to cut the lights in time. However, they still manage to retrieve Benjamin, but they argue during their drive. "You didn't wait for my signal. I had to improvise." They continue their bickering with John accusing Jane that she wants a servant, not a partner. Suddenly, Benjamin chimes in from the back. "Who are you people?"
Shut up!
Ha, nice one. At a motel, John interrogates their hostage. Instead of complying, Benjamin asks for a drink. So Jane smashes his face with the telephone. He immediately folds and tells them to check a photo in his back pocket. It's them. They were their targets from the very beginning. Their companies found out they were married and wanted them to take each other out, which is why they ordered them to the same assignment. The tank was bait all along.
You were bait or you are bait.
Great instincts. John inspects Benjamin and finds a GPS tracker in his belt, estimating that they have about 2 minutes before they're boned.
1 minute.
Helicopters and numerous cars arrive, and it's not long before the motel is surrounded. But the couple is already gone. They manage to evade their pursuers by hiding under this manhole. After chilling there for a bit, Jane breaks the silence, stating that her escape plan is a boat to Mexico. John's is a cargo drop to the Atlas Mountains. Jane seriously contemplates splitting apart.
Let's just call this what it is and what it isn't.
John agrees that their marriage is crap, admitting that they're both liars. However, he suggests that they stand their ground. Instead of running, they should fight. Jane agrees. The Smiths take their last stand in a hardware store. They suit up and arm themselves. Their enemies start entering the store, but before anything else, drip check. Sheesh. They start stealthily taking enemies out one by one and snag their guns in the process. The couple shows great teamwork while making quality memories along the way. Wholesome. Later, Jane goes John Wick with these knives, but nearly hits John's Then, some more bad luck happens as... Way to go, John. Shortly after, guns start blasting and they're forced to take cover in an elevator. It's a calming change of pace. Upon arriving to their floor, things are looking dicey. Nope. They go back down and Jane takes a higher vantage point, covering John's back. The Smiths find initial success in their tactics, but Jane is hit hard. John retreats and they both fall back to a storage unit, providing a limited but sufficient amount of cover. They take a moment to gather themselves and reevaluate the situation, preparing their equipment once more.
There's nowhere I'd rather be than right here with you.
Now, they're both ready to face the final level together. They toggle their aimbots and go out guns blazing. Enemies go down left and right. At last, the Smiths are completely in sync, blasting their targets without skipping a beat. After quite a bit of spraying and praying, the endless wave has finally been relinquished. In the end, we come back to Mr. and Mrs. Smith in marriage counseling. They're much happier than before. The doctor is impressed. From wanting to kill each other, they've worked out their differences and are ready to face any struggles and challenges that come their way.
That's a close question.
God bless. Hello, peoples. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.